All right. Well, thanks for coming in person. Thanks for tuning in online. Had the idea this weekend, really born out of necessity, to highlight something that I learned from my business partner, Shaquille O'Neal, that every real estate agent should be applying in their own business. For those of you online, I'm Joe Herrera with the Joe Taylor Group with Real Broker here in Las Vegas and Utah and Arizona, actually. So excited to share some thoughts with you. A little bit about me. I don't know if you guys saw this. I put this together over the weekend, but it's a cool app. V-I-L-O-A, like Viloa or something like that. Anyways, it takes your picture and turns you into Disney characters. Did you do it, Ange?
I did it. I did it for my whole family.
Dude, Tim looked like he was 12 years old.
I know. Everyone looks like they're 12.
So anyways, this does play into what I'm talking about today. It's not just an introduction to my family, but it actually does apply to the things I'm going to talk about. So my family from top left to bottom right is myself, my wife Jenny, our 17-year-old Porter, our 15-year-old Evelyn, our 12-year-old Joni, and our 9-year-old baby boy Philip. My kids don't have social media, or at least they're not supposed to. They sneak it every once in a while. But I created this for my social channels. I now, each of their profiles on my phone is this cartoon image. So if you need something really cool, a fun little post, what I actually did with it was turned it into like a theme of a Disney movie. And I think I called it like Ugly Dad Marries Hot Wife in an effort to get good-looking children or something stupid like that. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about how this whole thing came about, how I ended up partnering with Shaquille O'Neal and what led to that. So in 2012, we sold a real estate brokerage. We were continuing to practice real estate, but I went on a bike ride with a friend of mine. And we were going to be traveling to Hawaii. So I was going to be going to Honolulu, Oahu, with my family. I said to my buddy on the bike ride, I wish I knew what was happening while we were in Hawaii. Like what concerts, sporting events, local cultural events, farmers markets, ukulele presentations. Like, we're going to Hawaii. I love live events. I love concerts. I wonder what's happening while we're there that I don't even know about. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if there was an app that allowed you to say, I will be on Oahu from June 21st to June 28th. Show me everything. So everything from major concerts to plays to local cultural events. And I was like, there may be somebody doing like a Polynesian version of Les Mis on the beach in Oahu, and I want to know about it. And so we were like, dude, that's a good idea. And this is right after Facebook blew up. Instagram had just been bought by Facebook, and we were like, let's turn this into an app. So from an idea came a mobile application that we ran with. So Taylor continued to run our team while I built out this mobile application that we did some really cool stuff. So we built out a mobile app. We partnered with lots of universities, you know, San Diego State, UNLV, BYU, University of Utah. We partnered with businesses. So Skull Candy, at the time, the guys from Skull Candy had a big deal going with Blake Griffin of the Clippers, and so Blake Griffin was one of our guys. We met with, and we're partnering with the guys over at Neff, so Neff Clothing. Adam Carolla was one of our guys. So we did some pretty cool stuff. Coolest of them all, though, was we partnered with Shaquille O'Neal. And the way that came about was we knew SHAQ's manager. So SHAQ is managed by a guy, or at least was at the time, here in Las Vegas. So we went and met with him and said, hey, here's what we've built. It was still in its beta stage. Here's what we've built, and we would love to pitch it to SHAQ. SHAQ is kind of, he brands himself as the world's biggest geek. He loves technology. So prior to meeting with SHAQ, we went to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And we had a booth at South by Southwest. We spoke at South by Southwest. We actually were on stage right before Tony Hsieh went on stage. So it was like a cool little vibey period of time. Tony was building out the Vegas tech community, and we were part of that community, so we met a lot of cool people. So anyways, we went and had lunch with SHAQ in New York City, and we pitched him on the idea, and he loved it. He said, like, I think this is going to be huge. You know, like he loved the idea. So SHAQ said, we wanted to do it. We wanted to be his official event calendar, in a sense. So wherever SHAQ is, wherever SHAQ's going, whatever he's doing, he would use us to broadcast that. And SHAQ said, well, let's take it even further. Like, he wanted to be a owner. He wanted to be an owner in the company. So I still remember the watershed moment was when SHAQ was on NBA, TV, TNT, whatever, and he used our app to create the event, and he shared it with his whole network. It was super cool. And I thought, like, this is it. Like, we're going to make it, you know. So anyways, we met with him in New York. SHAQ said, I'll make this the best app ever. And then he tried to get Taylor and I to go to a strip club. And so, like, obviously he knew nothing about us, because like Taylor and I aren't strip club guys. But he said, I'll make this the best app ever. But the advice he gave me, I think, is something that we can all apply. So this was, I just found this old screenshot I had. The app was called Tabiso, which is a South African word. And so I have a video I need to show you guys. It was me and SHAQ sitting together, and he's like, you want to meet me? You want to be somewhere? Like, Tabiso, be somewhere. Anyways, so this was him sharing one of his events. He said he did a thing where, in order to broadcast the app, he said, I'm going to be at this location at this time, come and meet me. And this was, I think, from Twitter. I used to be able to text back and forth with SHAQ. It was awesome. I'd be sitting on my couch and with my kids, and I'd be like, SHAQ just texted me. You know, it was super cool. All right. So the rule that SHAQ taught me is something that I need to remind myself of. So we've just launched our partnership and our transition over to Real Broker. And so I'm super excited about it. I love it. I think it is the best business model for real estate agents I've ever seen in my whole life. We went from owning our brokerage to now being partners with all of you, and it's something I'm super excited about. And if you couldn't tell I was super excited, just look at my social media. I'm like geeking out, like every share I can possibly share, every positive piece of news. And I think it comes from a good place, because I really do believe in what we are doing. We saw it with EXP agents, where everything was EXP. We see it with real estate professionals, where everything is real estate. So here's a couple of rules. From your business page, this isn't SHAQ's rule, this is my rule. From your business page, you're okay to be super businessy and salesy. Like if I go on to Ruka.com, or if I go to Ruka's Instagram page, I'm going to expect to see clothes for sale, pants for sale, shirts for sale, hats for sale, beanies for sale, surfboards for sale, like whatever it is that they're into, I expect to see that, right? If I go to, here's the difference, a sponsored athlete of Ruka's, like some surfer that lives in Haleiwa on the North Shore, I don't expect to see him trying to sell me t-shirts with every post. He may say like, hey, check out this new shirt, blah, 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 with a link to purchase it. But then the next thing is going to be, here's a picture of me surfing and whatever else. So the rule SHAQ taught that all of us as real estate professionals, all of us as real agents, and any industry somebody may find themselves in, is there is a math equation that you need to become comfortable with from your social media. Again, this isn't your business page, this is you personally. So if I'm Jake, I need to realize about 40% of the things I post, this is SHAQ's rule, which I believe to be true. 40% of the things SHAQ posts are intended to make people laugh. So jokes, he's always like people on scooters that fall. He makes fun of Charles Barkley a lot. You know, so like 40% of what he does, posting wise, is to make people laugh. 40% is to inspire people. So there's a little bit of what he does to make people laugh, and then there's a little bit of what he does to inspire people. So for him, it looks like videos of himself. I saw one he posted the other day where he walked into, I think, a shoe store, and the guy that was buying the shoes either didn't have enough money, or he had some sort of issue going on, and so SHAQ bought his shoes for him. And so like that was inspirational, you know. So the other 20% is you can sell them something. So how it breaks down for us as real estate professionals becomes, so with Real Broker, we're all super excited. So I think 20% of our posts can be about the opportunity with Real. As long as we still mix in 40% to make people laugh and 40% to inspire them. Caveat, the reason I'm teaching this is because I'm so severely fracturing this rule right now. Like if you've seen an uptick in posts from me, because I literally haven't posted in 4 months, then all of a sudden we went to Real Broker and it's like post. Like I'm doing like 20 stories a day and 2 or 3 posts a day. It's because I'm excited about it. But that is why if you go onto my Instagram page, now I have, so it's like funny picture of my family. Real Broker is being uplisted in NASDAQ tomorrow. Me at the Knights game, Real Broker, we just transitioned our company. Me with a Mark Stone shirt because the Knights are awesome and he's my captain and it's literally my license plate. And then the Knights and then my family. And so anyways, you could tell when Real Broker officially launched because now I'm at like 50% salesy and 50% family. So as I was thinking about how salesy I'm being when I go through my story, inspirational quote, house for sale. And I need to make sure I maintain, even in my stories, that same percentage. What are your thoughts or questions or concerns, or like how does this become personally applicable?
I'm not good at posting in social media. I need to be better at it all.
So rule number 1 is you have to post or else you don't exist. So unfortunately, we live in a digital world. We're not quite Ready Player One yet, which is a great movie. I recommend if you haven't seen it. We're not quite there, but we're getting there. So if you're not posting something on social media, guess where your friends are going to buy houses?
Someone else's social media.
They're talking to Nan, right? Like right now we have ads running. Your friends are seeing them. And Nan is literally talking to them and assigning them out to agents. So if we're not in your marketplace yet, if you're watching this somewhere else, at some point we will be heavy in your marketplace and your friends and family will be clicking on our property posts and engaging with our staff and being handed off to our agents. So rule number 1 would be to post. It's tough because I'm much more of a consumer. I spend a decent amount of time on social media, but I don't post a lot. So Jaden, for you, you got to post. Your wife is really good. So here's another thing. Give her your login and just say, hey, I need posts. So if it's you and Will, like you're swinging them at the park and she snaps a photo of you from your account, says like, I work really hard, but man, I love time with my family. People are going to love it. So posts have to get out there because something that happens with people who don't post is they see the opportunity that exists with Real and they start going like, hey man, if anybody wants to, hey, did you know about this? Hey, and then all of a sudden it's just white noise. So it's like you have to, if you consider your social media like a bank account, imagine how healthy your bank account would be if 80% of transactions were deposits and only 20% were withdrawals. So that's a super good way to think about social media, it's an economy. If you deposit more than you withdraw, then you'll have a net positive influence. SHAQ's theory is 80% positive or deposit, 20% withdrawal. So the way you can think of this as, if you're trying to sell something, forget about like saying buy, sell, like not even posting the words buy this or hit me up or whatever, but just if you know you're posting this to try to make people do something emotionally, like call you when they have a home to buy or a friend looking to buy or sell, that is a withdrawal. So then what you have to ask yourself is, have I paid the social currency to even make that ask on social media? The answer from Joe is no, I have not. So you have to ask yourself that question. So Jaden, if you want to talk about, hey, use me to buy and sell houses, if you want to talk about like, hey, agents, this is a really cool opportunity with Real, you need to make sure you first have made some deposits in your social account so that people aren't like, dude, Jaden never tells me about himself, but he's always asking me to refer my friends.
Do you think it's good to post every single day?
I think a healthy balance is a post from 1 to 8 posts per week of an actual post. So people are pretty specific about their posts. People can go nuts in their stories. So stories you could unlimited. You could do 100 of them a day if you want. And you really won't have any negative influence or impact. But if you post multiple times a day, people will start being like, Jake, bro, like take it easy, you know? You could probably post somewhere from 1 to 2 posts per day. We know the difference between posts and stories. 1 to 2 posts per day max.
Hey, just in case there's anybody on the video that doesn't know the difference, what is
Yeah. So if you go to Instagram, posts are what lives right here.
Okay.
These are posts. Stories are what lives up here. These are stories.
Okay, so the posts are in your face. The stories are just, hey, if I'm curious what Joe's up to, I go to.
Yeah, when stories first came out, I thought these are so freaking stupid. Who's ever going to watch this? I'm never posting a story. And now it's like story. I have to remind myself to post posts. And so, like any currency, we just have to learn the economy, right? Like, so with social, it's like we can make a post, maybe 2 a day, but we could go nuts on stories. And so it's kind of cool that Instagram has divided the world for us to say like, all right, Shar, if you land at a really good restaurant, you take a picture of you and your family, awesome. But you don't get, not meaning you can't, like you can write as many checks as you want, but at some point they're going to bounce. So the social translation of that is every post you make is is like writing a check. So like you can't post a picture of your appetizer and then post a picture of your entree and then post a picture of dessert. And then like if you post 4 or 5 times during a dinner, people will unfollow you 100%. However, if you story those things, people are all in. And I don't know why it works that way. It just does. It's kind of like you can text me whenever you want. Like anyone in the world, go ahead and text me. I don't care. Don't freaking call me. Like it's like an invasion of my privacy. I'm like, who's this guy? Hello, like what do you want? Why are you calling me? You know, Jake can call me once a day, but if he calls me 5 times a day, I'm probably going to trip out. Jake and I probably exchange 5 or 10 texts a day. So it's like every social interaction has its acceptable norms. So as a rule, I would think 1 to 2 posts a day at max. Stories are pretty much unlimited. The challenge is if you never post and then you try to make a withdrawal, it's going to rub people the wrong way. So if you never post inspirational things, you never post funny things, but every post is, hey, what's up? It's Scott. I'm a realtor. Use me, use me, use me. Hey, I'm with Real Broker. If you're an agent, come, come, come. Like, it's going to rub people the wrong way. I'm still trying to figure out how to post things that people actually care about. It's a challenge. Because, like, if I post my wife or kids, people generally love it, right? But then we get into the danger zone of if I post my wife and kids at the beach and people can't afford to go on vacations, am I being an a-hole? And so it's like we walk these delicate lines of saying like, here's my life and I dig it, and here's my life and I'm better than everybody. It's like somehow we have to walk that line. Now, as it relates to business, here's some additional thoughts. Nobody wants to buy or sell a house with people that don't do anything, period. So Ange runs into this issue because she sells 60 homes a year. It's perfectly acceptable for Ange to put, and Arlie did a great job. Here's my new clients, we exchange baskets, we love each other. And then, wow, she sold another house. Like, that's awesome. Arlie, like, behind the wheel of a brand new Benz, because she just closed a couple of homes, rubs people the wrong way. So it's like you have to, it's before you ever post, you have to ask yourself this question. Why am I posting this? What is the intended consequence of this post? Is it to inspire people? Is it to make them laugh? Or is it to sell something? So sometimes our business posts can be deposits. because they're, Jake, I just sold a house to this veteran. We served together. Like, dude's worked hard. He's repaired his credit. Stoked for him. He just got a house. That is not a withdrawal. That's a deposit. Because people, the more they see of you doing that, are going to be like, dude, freaking Jake kills it. And it's not an ask. It's a, like, statement posts from business accounts do very well. Meaning, Ryan, I love this family. Young family, just got a job, finished the 2-year period, so they qualified for a loan, just bought their first house. I'm so happy for them. Picture of you and the kids and everybody out front of the house. That's a deposit. I break the rules all the time because I post like a help wanted, and I say, I need homes to list. Like, if anybody's knowing of somebody that needs to buy or sell a house, send them my way. That's worse than a deposit. It's almost like bouncing a check, but I do it all the time. And so part of it is you need to post. Rule number 2 would be you need to think about what you post. I would say rule number 3 is if you don't want to post, find somebody willing to do it for you. There are social media marketing companies that will do it for you. The problem is their messaging becomes super white label and generic, and they'll post the same thing for everybody. So there'll be some guy here in Vegas that's the social marketing king. And he'll go, all right, Scott, Jake, Jaden, I'll run all your social accounts. $200 a month, right? Guess what it is? The five hottest areas of Vegas. 5 hottest areas of Vegas. 5 hottest areas of Vegas. 3 things before you sell your home. 3 things before you sell your home. So it's like super white label and generic. The better play is get your wife to do it. Like your wife loves social stuff. So just say, here's my login. Go post for me. And let her take care of the 80%, and then you get to do the 20%. Right? I have to force myself to do the 80% because if I ever do post anything other than business, I literally want to brag about my life. Like, that's a sad admission, but it's like, I'm here in Tahiti with Jake and we're snorkeling. Like, check us out. It's a pandemic, but we're going to go spearfishing. Like, that is what I want to post. I want to post, I want to brag about my kids. Like, my son runs his own car wash business. And while other people's kids are making $9 an hour flipping burgers, Porter's making like $40 an hour. Yay, entrepreneurialism, and like, it just looks like a jerk. So it's like, my natural inclinations of posting will hurt my business. Here's another example of hurting your business. Politics. Here's another example of hurting your business. Like criticizing people's religious beliefs. Like, these are ways to really, if you really want to piss some people off, talk about the pandemic being a scam and a hoax. Or if you really want to piss people off, start yelling at people about keep your masks on, people. You know what I mean? Like, either side of it, you're going to piss people off. If you want to piss people off, post, yay, Biden. If you want to piss people off, post, yay, Candace Owens. Like, either way, you're going to piss people off. So it's like, I don't know why people use their social currency and they cash it in for what they cash it in for. I got a post I got a message on our social media page because somebody who was licensed with our company decided to go onto some message board on some Facebook group and talk about, certain ethnic background privilege. And I was like, why? Like, what are you going to get out of that? You're not going to change anybody's mind. And so we all have religious beliefs. We all have political beliefs. We all have social beliefs. And the challenge is, if you want to use social to make any money, you don't get to be that person. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You can be hardcore left wing. You could be hardcore right wing. I'm all in. Let's do it. But you can't then say, I'm using this to build my business, because you don't get to be both. Now, how have people handled this historically? Well, Silence Dogood was a ghost writer name for Benjamin Franklin. He used to write letters to papers under synonyms. Is that the right term? What's that? Pseudonym. He used to, not synonym. Pseudonym. He would write articles in a fake name and pretend it was himself. I think Hamilton, they all used to do it. So if you really need to tell people why, communism is awesome or communism is terrible. If you really need to do one, create a fake account and call yourself like Jaden Burkett and go crazy. Like, go nuts. Just don't do it from your own page because you're just, yeah. What's that?
Sorry.
Do you have one? Do you have one?
No.
Now, I'm not talking about burner phones. That's a bad idea if you're married and stuff. But create a fake social account. If you just can't help yourself, if you can't help yourself from posting about hardcore political stuff, create a fake account. Or do it from your account, but don't ever, ever, ever come to me and say, hey, I can't get it. Nobody's reacting well to my social stuff, and I can't get any buyers or sellers. And then I look and it's like, yay, Kamala Harris, or yay, Candace Owens. And I'm like, well, yeah, there's your answer. You can't do that. You just can't. And so whenever somebody asks about our demographic, I had a listing appointment this morning, and the seller was like, well, how do you narrow down your audience? And you know what my answer was? I don't. They narrow themselves down. Like, I don't go. What's the craziest thing for me in real estate is somebody will post a house and they will call me and they'll go, hey, how do I reach affluent women who do yoga and their husband's a plastic surgeon? Like, I have no idea. Like, why would you ever want to do that? All right, how about this? How do I reach construction workers who make over $100,000 a year and drive a truck? And I'm like, I'm not your guy, right? What I do is I post content and I let people weed themselves out. It's not up to me to decide who it's for and who it's not for. Thoughts, questions, concerns, smart remarks? Scott.
So this is a business page or a personal page?
So I would still follow this rule from a business account to some degree. If you look at the Joe Taylor Group, largest Facebook page in Las Vegas for real estate, it's like 1,000% salesy. Like, every once in a while we'll post a picture of ourselves in a t-shirt to say like, yay, we're now with Real Broker, but it's also salesy. Like, from a business page, you can pretty much sell constantly and people are okay with it. So I would say this is more smaller brand or personal. So like, until you establish a business brand that is bigger than yourself, there is no difference. So like, we had an agent when we made our move over to Real Broker who was like, I don't want to get into the branding and like, changing. And what I told them in a very, very insensitive way was like, if switching from one brokerage to another affects your brand, you don't have a brand. You have a person. The Joe Taylor Group, we could change real estate brokerages every single month. Our staff would hate us, but it would have zero impact on our business because the Joe Taylor Group is bigger than most brokerage brands in Las Vegas. Like, our team name is bigger than that. So I don't know if that answers your question, but my guess would be if your business page isn't significant 2 or 3x bigger than your personal page, you really don't have a difference. Everything you do is business. So this rule really applies though to you personally. I mean, if somebody from a real estate business page is posting anything political, religious, or racial at all, like, quit. Just quit and go be a politician or a lobbyist or something. You know what I mean? Like, if someone from their real estate page says, like, I'm tired of white privilege, or that sounds like entitled these people, like, just quit and go do something else. So
You would just advise just to keep a normal page. Like, it's not necessary to have a business page. Like, Jaden, here I am. It's
right.
just best for me to use my personal account. I don't need to make a business page. What do you recommend?
I mean, at some point, if you say, I'm going to start the Cook Group and go get 50 agents underneath me, you need a business page. Yeah. But
in my current situation,
in your current situation, you need to take the 1,000 people that knew you growing up and get as many of them to buy and sell homes with you on a yearly basis. And that will be most effectively done by Jaden Cook, not the Cook Group.
yeah, I need to
Yeah.
repent of my
Well, most of you guys, your sphere of influence like runs circles around mine, but my business stuff, laps universes around yours. And so it's just, but the problem is every realtor wants everything. They want leads, but they want independence. They want business pages, but they want all their friends to use them. You know what I mean? Like step one is make sure your personal social is on point. It's dialed, Once your personal social is dialed, if you grow to a point to where you're like, you know what? I really just want to post pictures of my 4-year-old kid, and I don't want to post pictures of my 4-year-old kid on my personal stuff. I'm going to go private on my Instagram account, and I'm then going to create a business page. I'm all in. But unless you are a hyper poster of content and establishing somewhat of a citywide, if not statewide, if not nationwide brand, you're probably better off to do it as Jaden Cook, the person who happens to be with the Joe Taylor Group at Real Broker. And then you share this with Ashley and you say, hey, I need your help. 40, 40, 20. So if I pull up the last 10 posts, let's find some ways to inspire people. Easy. Inspirational is the easiest one of them all. Yesterday, there's this lady I know named Marjorie Pay Hinckley. And she said at some point years ago, the trouble with the world is that we don't love each other enough, and if we do, we don't bother to show it or we don't bother to say it. There's no race stuff, there's no religion stuff, there's no politics stuff. It's just a cool quote I came across. So I posted it. Yay, one in the inspirational column. And then I posted my Disney family thing. Yay, one in the funny column, So as I go back now, the key is to do audits on yourself. Because if you don't watch yourself, you go like, oh yeah, no, I'm good. And then you look at your last 10 posts and you go like, oh crap, I posted like 8 business things, So it's like, teach the principle and then audit yourself and go like, all right, if I'm you, Jaden, I probably need 5 posts a week. So you and Will, you and Ashley, you throw in the beanbag, like whatever, 5 posts a week with some little like, not questions, not requests, but statements. Statements do really, really well. Like, I am the worst cornhole player of all time.
That's not
I'm like, it's a statement. Yeah. Well, not for me, but for you. Yeah. No, Angie's actually the worst ever. Yeah. But anyways, making statements and even making fun of yourself work really, really well. I saved this yesterday. Let me put this up on the screen if I saved it. Yes. All right, here we go. Dude, Matthew McConaughey, I think he's like not even borderline. Like, I think he's just a genius. Never post your achievements. Post stupid stuff and jokes. So they'll think you have no future because people hate progress. Seriously. Like, that's to some degree true, right?
People hate seeing other people be successful if they're not being successful themselves.
Right. So some hacks to this is make fun of your success. Be stupid about your own success. Like, I'm out showing homes and I'm still putting this mask on even though I'm vaccinated. Like, I can barely breathe. And like, or like if I take a post of myself and my glasses are all fogged up. And I'm like, trying to keep people safe, trying to see. Sometimes I can't do both when showing homes. Perfect. Making fun of myself, but kind of sneaky, like I'm actually killing it. And so it's like, how do you do both? This is why it's an economy. This is why it's a science experiment. This is why it's challenging, is because it's not as easy as just saying like, hey, close another one, close another one, close another one, close another one, check, 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 car, vacation, vacation. And that's what we want to do. But then people are like, dude, Jake's a complete a-hole because I never hear from him unless he's into Edie, right? So that's why it's important to follow. Let me see. Let me get back to the main screen. But that's why it's important to follow that simple rule. What else? Questions, concerns, theories?
Question.
Yes.
So how professional, like at the bio for like your Facebook, like would you make it as close to your LinkedIn or just still keep it fun?
It just depends. So like we kind of backed into our branding. We just launched our team up in Utah. So for Utah, we didn't go with Joe Taylor Group. We went with Great Wasatch Valley or Wasatch Front Homes is the name of the Facebook page. In the description of the Facebook page, it says collaboration between the Joe Taylor Group and Graham Allen, with Real Broker and all this stuff. So the description talks about who we are. So it just depends. If you feel like, I would say priority number one is make sure your personal social is dialed in. If you have no influence or you don't know a ton of people here, I would say get to know people. But then if you start a business page, I think I would look at the ones that are the most successful and R&D them. Now you guys understand R&D in our business does not mean research and development, right? Does anybody know what it means?
Repeat and
Close. Rip off and duplicate. Like find somebody that's done something good and then just copy it. And so theoretically, we think we're going to do pretty well with our Utah market with just a generic Facebook page that's great Wasatch Front Homes. So you could go that route, or you could just do Mahela and do your whole thing and have it you branded. It really yeah. Oh, and connect your Instagram, Facebook page. But here's my answer. CrossFit's great. Zumba's great. Pilates is great. LVAC is great. Rowing is great. Everything's great. Just move. With business stuff, I think the key is just to get started, and then you can kind of, you can modify things as you go. Now, until you get to a point to where like our Facebook following is so big that I'm really having a heck of a time getting Facebook to change our page name. Jake did it in like 15 minutes. I'm like, what the crap? I've been fighting with Facebook for 2 weeks.
Now I have to change it again because I said brokerage instead of broker LLC. But I'll have to wait, 30 days to do
Yeah.
Such a dumb rule.
Is that Instagram or Facebook?
Facebook.
That's on the book.
Instagram you could change instantly. Instagram's done. Like if you go to Instagram, it's Joe Taylor Group brokered by Real Broker. If you go to Facebook, it's Joe Taylor Group at Love Local Real Estate. And I think the problem is Facebook thinks Love Local is a mission statement, not a company. And they also think that Real Broker is a mission statement, not a company. And so I've sent them news articles and press releases and like legal documents showing the name of the company, and they just go, well, like, we believe your followers follow you because you love local real estate. I'm like, idiot, it's our company name, So, what else?
Question.
Yes.
So what about like I'm not good at social media.
Right.
But like when you're posting something, is it best to tag people or?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it helps. So, 2 things. Anyone in this room doesn't really have to be that great. Just share the stuff that we create for you. So when you close a house, we create like a just sold. When you listed a house, we create a just listed. Like, that's so easy. All you have to do is share that. It's like the easiest thing in the world. Number 2, virality is key. So Facebook really pissed me off when we went from having 4,000 followers and we would post something and like 1,800 people would see it, to having 20,000 followers and we post something and 900 people see it. I'm like, how did our audience grow 5x and our reach divided in half? It's because it's a pay-to-play environment. So the cool thing you have personally is when you tag people, you get virality for free. On a business page, the only way to get virality is to spend money. Now you'll notice on our Facebook posts, people tag each other, which is like the holy grail. As they tag each other, like if somebody sees a Facebook post from us and they say, and Jake says, at Jimmy, check this out. Jimmy, that now flows into Jimmy's feed. And so now we get virality that way. So from a personal side of things, tagging people helps a lot. So if you tag people on Facebook, I should say, Instagram, it's irrelevant. Instagram has 0 virality. You get a little bit if you are public and you do really good job with hashtagging, because now they put into play like hashtag filters, so you can follow hashtags. So little life hack, I have on my phone, I created hashtags as a text replacement. So when I hashtag hashtags, then I have my standard like 7 hashtags that automatically flow in as a text replacement. So I used to have to copy and paste it until I learned about text replacement, which is the greatest thing of all time.
Can you share?
The hashtag? Yeah,
Because those are
I
hard
think
to
so.
come up
Yeah, mine are pretty generic. So this is probably getting into the weeds, but hashtags originally were intended as a filter. They then turned into a art form. And I think they're flowing back into filters again. So like for years, I never used hashtags as a filtration system. I used it as a statement. Like if I took a selfie of us right now and I would put hashtag I love my team, that's more like an art expression. It's like a feeling. Now, it would show up in filtration systems with every baseball player, soccer team, cheerleading squad, like anyone that ever said, I love my team, now we flow in together. So when you make hashtags, you almost have to think, am I taking this post and making it part of a larger economy? Or am I, so you know what I've never been a fan of or really understood is when a large brand responds to an angry person on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere else. You know why? They take their large audience and expose some loser with no following to the large audience. Famous is Twitter. Like Kevin Durant will literally get in arguments with people that mean nothing. And it's like, bro, no one ever even sees that. No one cares until you reply to some dude that said you're a loser with, oh yeah, well your mom's a loser. And then all of a sudden it's like, bro, why are you doing this? Like you're exposing your entire audience to some nutcase that's just trying to get at you. So that's a long roundabout way to talk about tagging and hashtagging. Use your hashtags to try to become a part of a larger audience. Once you get that large audience, like now I'm kind of careful on the Joe Taylor Group Facebook stuff because I don't want people that see, you know, we have about 50,000 people that see our stuff on a daily basis. I don't want them to click on our stuff and end up on some person with no following. So that's where you got to kind of be careful with hashtags. But until you become the icon, the leader, you know, be the follower that tries to attach to. So R&D, you may look at some of the top producing agents in town and look at some of the hashtags they use, and you may copy those to try to become a part of their audience, if that makes sense. Like, so that if some agent that kills it puts on their, like, you know, top producing agent Vegas, and they have a 20,000 person following, and you have 100 people, and you put hashtag top producing agent Vegas, when people click on it from their post, they will be exposed to you. So now you are getting the benefit of a larger audience, if that makes sense. So tagging and or hashtagging can do that.
It's called social media for a reason.
Yeah,
The more
it's
people-
social.
The more
Yeah.
people that share, comment, and like on your thing, the better your content is put into the algorithm
Yeah.
and pushed out to everyone. So
Yeah.
you tagging someone, you commenting on someone, allows more people to navigate to your page.
Yeah.
So if you don't already like and comment.
Okay, last, here's my contact information. You guys have it. If anybody watching needs it, that's my actual cell phone number. Feel free to text me. I will put in a plug for the Netflix movie Social Dilemma. Super good. Social media is gross. Like, that's the thing. Above all, like, it's disgusting. And like for my children, I do not allow them to have it. They can sneak it behind my back sometimes, but when I catch them, they get in trouble because it hurts in so many ways. Child sex trafficking is prevalent through social media. Pornography usage is prevalent through social media. Body shaming is huge. You know, like I've got 2 teenage daughters. The last thing I need is for them to not feel good about themselves because all they see is Instagram models. You know what I mean? So it's like, use with caution, I would say. I also have to watch myself. And so I get my weekly report of my screen time. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm a monster. Like, what is wrong with me? Go live real life, you know? But I also use my phone for business, so within reason. So my parting advice is use with caution, use with purpose. Like, if social media is used as a tool to help your life and business, it can accomplish that. If social media is used as a hiding place to get away from real life, if it's used as an outlet, if it's used as a tool to feed your jealousy, if it's used as a tool to feed your insecurities, then it's super, super dangerous. So my parting advice is just use with caution. Use with caution. Post, but be cautious about it. And I think if you do those things, you'll have success either way. Thanks.
Where'd you get that?
What?
So for people with their colorful shirts.
Keynote.